Number 4 is we will not obey orders to impose martial law or a state of emergency on any state or to enter with force into a state without the express consent and invitation of the state's legislature.
And you have to do that because the John Warren Defense Authorization Act says even if the governors say no, we're going to do it. And now he's created a puppet 10-member governorship to claim he has power over the states, and they admit they are taking over the states, and the secret Homeland Security documents admit it's actually for a takeover of America. I mean, we have the documents. This is for the American people, not for guys in turbans.
That's the whole point of that Council of Governors, is to circumvent the requirement of the authorization of the state legislature. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution says that only upon the application of the state legislature, or if they can't be convened, the executive, can the feds come in, even to stop an insurrection against the state. Like, say there's an insurrection against the government of Texas, and the feds want to come in to stop that. They can't do anything without the invitation of your legislature or your governor.
Because the states created the federal government. Go ahead.
That's exactly right. So number 5 is we will not obey orders to invade and subjugate any state that asserts its sovereignty and declares the national government to be in violation of the compact by which that state entered the Union. We are a dual sovereignty system. States have the power and the responsibility to intercede and guard that.
And now a whole bunch of attorney generals in states are moving to block unconstitutional gun laws, government health care, everything, and the feds are moving in. Continue.
Right, but they're asserting their sovereignty. It's two systems. If the states were to interfere with the sovereign sphere of the national government, they will defend that. It's
everything is a separation of powers.
That's right. We will not obey orders to blockade American cities, thus turning them into giant detention camps.
And that's in all these executive orders, this biological attack order.
Well, it also was done during Katrina. People were not allowed to leave out of New Orleans and cross the bridge. It's in our film. It's on our website at oathkeepers.org. You can go there and watch that video. We have clips there of Shepard Smith from Fox News standing on the bridge saying they will not let them cross this bridge to get out of there.
Continue.
We will not obey any order to force American citizens into any form of detention camps under any pretext. And that was done already in our history to the Japanese Americans.
And the Italians. And we now have the National Emergency Centers Act that admits they've built the camps.
That's exactly right. They're putting together, I mean, a lot of this stuff is dual use. They'll put together a detention center or an emergency center supposedly for refugees from other countries, et cetera, but they always have dual use.
But, well, back in 99, with that staged event in Seattle, the WTO, they put them in the Sandpoint Naval FEMA brig.
And also happened in New York City, too, correct?
Yeah, right. Pier 57.
We will not obey orders to assist or support the use of any foreign troops on U.S. soil against the American people to keep the peace or to maintain control.
And we know the Army War College is teaching they'll use foreign troops. In LE09 last year, FEMA with 14 nations trained to, quote, take on American terrorists.
Well, you also had a weird thing where you had foreign troops training with our National Guard across the country. You had Uzbekistani troops up in Montana, of all places. And once again, it's an example of dual use. They say they're there for only training them to go back home and do.
But then they admit it's for domestic use. Go ahead.
Right. We will not obey orders to. So we would consider such use of foreign troops against our people to be an invasion and act of war. Number 9, we will not obey any order to confiscate the property of the American people, including food and other essential supplies, under any emergency pretext.
And that's in executive orders.
Oh, absolutely.
To take the food.
And it's also been used historically as a weapon of war as well. No easier way to subjugate a people than to cause a famine or to confiscate, like was done to the kulaks, right, by Stalin. So number 10 is we will not obey any order which infringes on the right of the people to free speech, to peaceably assemble, or to petition their government for redress of grievances.
And we have the free speech zones. We have the provocateurs they hire to go to events. We have the clear program going on of restriction. Let's talk about the new programs that Oath Keepers are launching. I want to tell the listeners again, Infowars.com, Prisonplanet.com, suddenly are being censored all over the world. This is confirmed. Big reports coming up live tomorrow. Final segment with Stewart-Rhodes straight ahead. While you can still visit them, Infowars.com, Prisonplanet.com, Follow the Republic, the film online. Get it today. Foreign banks engineered the banking collapse. They're meeting secretly in Australia, according to the News of Australia. They are coming in with this criminal takeover. They are not going to be able to get away with their crimes if the people stand up against them. That's why they're coming in to censor the web now. They can stage fake attacks on the internet as a pretext to shut it down. They're saying that's basically what they're going to do. The underwear bomber, it's even in the Detroit newspapers, was led on the plane protected by the U.S. government. In every case, you are the target. You need to realize that. And the good news is they wouldn't be trying to shut us down, Stewart-Rhodes, founder of Oath Keepers, if we weren't effective.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they understand that they have a window of opportunity that's shrinking, and we have a window that's expanding. The longer the internet is free and the longer we have free speech and communication amongst ourselves, the more the veil is lifted, and they know that.
Stewart, you've other points in the last 10 minutes we've got, other programs that Oath Keepers is launching. Well,
we want to support the police, military, and firefighters directly when they keep their oath. And so we've started a new program called Family Safe. We're launching today. If folks go to our website, oathkeepers.org, there's a banner across the very top that links to Family Safe. What that's going to be is Oath Keeper members will volunteer to host the families of any current serving police officer, military, or fire personnel during a time of emergency. So they don't have to worry about their family being safe. They like a retired cop will host the family of a current serving police.
And they don't want the community getting involved with the police.
Well, sure. I mean, what better way to show we have their back and who their friends are than to support them directly by making sure their family is safe?
And look at DU. Look at Agent Orange. The government doesn't care about the troops and police.
Absolutely not. Ask any guy who's ever been injured in the military. He'll tell you usually they try to duck and cover and kick you out with no benefits. It's happening all the time right now. So you bet.
Stewart, where do you see America going? I mean, we're defeating them on the swine flu hoax, on the government takeover of health care that's really a new tax.
Climate change hoax.
Climate change hoax.
Right.
They're in trouble on every front. They, in their own white papers. I have Cass Sunstein, White House science czar, White House technology czar, White House information czars, all calling for an end to free speech and talk radio. We have the new head of the FCC saying they may restrict free speech. I mean, they're really sending up trial balloons. We've got to get the word out now that we're not going to put up with this.
Right. And the big danger is a potential crisis like an economic collapse, for example, that could be the catalyst to cause people to accept draconian government extreme measures. You know, so-called martial law, which is nowhere in the Constitution whatsoever. But that's the biggest danger, is that in the short term, there could be a crisis, whether it's real or manufactured or amplified, that could cause people to say, oh, we must turn to the government for help, like an economic collapse, for example.
And by the way, there were 3 articles last week by top neocons and a Democrat saying we need a new war or we need a staged event. The people are waking up to us. They even write news articles admitting it. Governor Ridge admitted last year that they would issue fake terror alerts for political aim. Folks, you are the target of the police state. We have the MIAC and Homeland Security reports. Stewart, in closing, what is the New World Order? What have they openly announced? Why did you wake up? Why are you resisting them?
Well, I think the bedrock of it is a belief that you have no natural rights, and that the elite are going to be like a new oligarchy that will rule over you as though they were your slave master. And, you know, most of these people are internationalist elites. They don't believe in sovereignty of any nation. They want to destroy U.S. sovereignty. So that's the rock we have to defend. Is our common bond is our Declaration of Independence, the idea of the consent of the governed, and our natural rights. And so
that's the hedge of protection. Without that, we're not America anymore.
Absolutely right. Without that, exactly right. We no longer exist as Americans.
Well, everybody knows something is wrong, and the elite has gambled with this takeover. I mean, they openly announced this is world government. We're going to pay our taxes to private banks. This is private banks making themselves kings. It's illegitimate. It's fraudulent. Will we say no? Everybody, Infowars.com, Prisonplanet.com are now censored across the board all over the globe. It's being announced. Other sites, it's your site tomorrow. This is so you don't have a capacity to really reach people. It's all the big sites now. It's the smaller and medium-sized sites tomorrow. This is a huge issue. And you won't be able to visit oathkeepers.org soon if you don't get the word out. We have to let them know that we're not going to put up with censorship.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, use it or lose it now. This is it.
Well, we have to show them that when they do these probes, and they're probing right now to see if we'll accept this, that we get the word out even more. And we boycott the ISPs that are censoring, and we sue them, and we expose them, and we get the word out. Or they're going to expand it.
And you should also make sure the politicians know that if they vote for it, you're going to kick them out of office. I mean, you got to tack a few hides on the door to make it.
That's right. They passed the greenhouse gas tax in the House, not in the Senate. They passed a lot of stuff in the House. They passed the cybersecurity bill. The Senate version, we've got the head of the committee, Senator Jay Rockefeller of West Virginia, saying we'd be better off without the internet. People better grow up and realize tyranny happens everywhere, and it's happening here.
Right, and grow a pair and do something about it.